Okay, Record's video on Sunday, the 8th of June, 2025. Just gone 4:51 p.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So it's the weekend and time for another weekend futures market recap, where I go through 15 of the largest futures markets and I show you what I'm seeing on my charts. Apologies for a late video this weekend. I woke up on Sunday morning thinking, oh, there's this little tech thing that's bugging me. I'll just take care of that and figure out how to do it. Hours later, no, wasn't able to fix it. I hacked some workaround, and then I thought, well, I'll just tackle this second tech thing that's a lot easier, and I'll sort out that. That's been bugging me, and I'll feel some sense of success. Nope, hours later, no result. Very, very frustrating. I did manage to get a surf in, which was nice. We had a beautiful day here in Queensland. But anyway, that was my Sunday, extremely frustrating, so I apologize for that, and that's the reason for the video coming out late. But anyway, you don't want to hear about that. You want to hear about the Emini charts. So we're going to talk about that first. Daily all the way down to the 13,500 tip bar chart. And then I'll have a look at some tip bar charts of the futures. So last weekend, it felt like the beginning of World War III. But I was talking about a stop run above 6,008. And of course, we started off Sunday night pretty weak, but then we started to rally on Monday and kept on going and going. And we broke through the 6,008 level. I'm still looking for that cyclical cross. So this is the daily chart, just to remind you. There's the intermediate time frame. Bang. At some point, that is going to play in to the picture. But if we go down through the charts, we've still got a little bit of exhaustion to go on the upside before that rolls on. So anyway, that's important. The 135-minute chart here, again, no blue professional bars. We had that weakness from the Rambo patterns, but it didn't last very long, a day or two, and then we've come back up, closed the week at 6,009, and momentum patterns, nothing really going on. Here's that intermediate cross. So on the next time frame down, it's the highest time frame. On this time frame, the next time frame up, it's the intermediate time frame because these things ripple through. So it looks like a big deal here when we had a pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame. And this cyclical energy will eventually play down. But we need to break into a downtrend. We need the bars to turn white. We need some blue professional bars to signal we got a turn here on the 135-minute chart. So nothing happening yet. 45-minute chart, a little bit better. So here on this time frame, we've had exhaustion buy, bearish divergence right on the zero line. So we'd probably wait for a flush. So we're looking for a flush, a final burst of energy. And we've got pullback to end of trends going off here at the highs, which is good. They ripple through the time frames from the lowest time frame here to an intermediate one, pullback to end of trend. And then we had another little pullback to end of trend on the low and another one on the low. Cyclical resistance coming in there. So we're starting to find a trouble. And up here we got blue professional bars with a box around them. That means that that's at highs, and therefore the professionals are taking profits here. So this level is important. 59.29, which is a ways away from where we are, but anyway, breaks of that be super important. So let's wait for that. 15-minute chart, same thing, same level. 59.29 here for a break, and here you can start to see with this week's activity the vertical solid yellow lines at the beginnings and the ends of the weeks, and this is a pattern I like. You'll see this again and again when we get an exhaustion pattern down into a stair-step trade here, and we bounce off there, and we had the weakness in the overnight activity. Then on Monday it just caught down here. We got rid of a lot of sellers because they're all freaked out by World War III, and that caused a reversal, and they've always had to cover, and that's why we have exhaustion buy on the flip side. So we need to move from exhaustion sell to exhaustion buy to exhaustion sell, and so on. It's people rushing from one side of the boat to the other side of the boat. So they rushed from here to here. And then we got that stop run about 6,009 in the overnight activity. I'll show you that on the tip bar chart. And now we've got, again, blue professional bars at those highs taking profits. We've got a whole bunch of confluence going on here. So on better sine wave, we've got all of these resistance levels come really close together. And that's what that pattern is there. That's a squeeze when it comes to the cyclical patterns. Price and cycles just align, and they're just stuck, and they're waiting for a trending move to break out. So here, pullback to end of trends, whole family of them going on at that point there. This level here will be important. What is that on the intermediate time frame? 59.84. So it's a little bit higher. See if that gets broken. This turns into a downtrend on the 15-minute. It's still 59.29 here for better pro-am, but that would be the first sign that things are starting to change. And lastly, the 13,500 tip bar chart here. Let's have a look at this better pro-am on this one. So the beginnings and the ends of the weeks, and this is the signal I'm talking about. And I said In last weekend's video, watch out for that, we were going for an exhaustion pattern, and this is above the lip, but I talk about these things being under the lip when we have a change in trend like that. That's the lip for me, whether it's happening on the way down or on the way up. But the exhaustion pattern into that is getting rid of a whole bunch of sellers there, the panic overnight on the Sunday, and then we have a little bit of a squeeze, and we break out of that, and then we start to have some initial profit taking up here with professionals, and then we go for the overnight break of the 6,008 level, and we got up to 6,016, but that's not good enough. We got to do that during the day, and of course during the day, the next day, they took us right to the edge there. The high was 6,009. And then we backed off from there, but that was amateurs at that point, so it wasn't a professional profit taking up there or a stop run. We didn't generate blue professional bars at the highs. The last blue professional bar that we saw on this time frame was on the Friday, and it was taking profits up here, but it wasn't at the highs, even though we broke up to 6,025. So we had the stop run, but it didn't generate the fireworks I thought it would, because again, we're running from one side of the boat to the other. We've had our exhaustion sell down here, getting rid of the sellers, and we've gone price-wise to the other side of the boat, but in terms of exhaustion patterns, we didn't really generate it. This one was pretty good in terms of reading. That's about 21,000 compared to down here when we got a signal that was 22,500 on the way down. So it didn't generate an exhaustion buy. We're in no man's land at the moment, no blue professional bars. So here the level is 60, 59, 69. So we've got some levels, 84, 69, 28. Those start breaking down. We've changed trends, and that'll be the end of it. But it's not a classic yet. We've not turned into a downtrend yet on the 13,500 tip bar chart. We're certainly overcooked here on better sine wave, up here with all of these end of trends, the left shoulder being made by the lowest time frame, end of trends, then the head of the move, a pullback to end of trends on the intermediate time frame, and then we come back, and this is the right shoulder, but it's a bit wonky up here. We're finding resistance, we've got signs of weakness, but all of a sudden we've got a cyclical turn, maybe on the highest time frame, although the fast line hasn't. Oh, the market's just opened. So it's 5 o'clock on Sunday, so here we go. Now we're starting to strengthen. So this might cross and turn. So let's bear that in mind, that the market's live at the moment. But anyway, so I'm looking for continuation on the upside to get our exhaustion patterns in here to mimic this exhaustion sell to turn into an exhaustion buy at the top, and then we can roll over properly. So here we go, tip bar charts, the Euro chart. Last week we had a nice little setup. We had a V reversal, exhaustion sells down here, blue professional bars, big pros come in here, the background's in blue. We get a break of the trailing stop, and that was the bottom. We've mirrored it now with exhaustion buy up here at the highs, but no blue professional bars there, and they're catching at the moment down here. The amateurs were going short, but the blue professional bars have stepped in, big pro bars have stepped in. So it's looked for a break of 14.22 for a continuation of the uptrend on the euro. Here's the British pound. We had some profit taking here at the highs, but we kept on going this week's activity. In no man's land, same thing as the euro chart. We got Rambo patterns here followed by blue professional bars. So the amateurs are getting wrong-footed, and then the professionals step in once they've seen those levels. So let's see if we break out of this above 35.60 or so. Again, continuation of the uptrend in British pound. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar here with last week's activity. We bottomed with no patterns down here. We'd had exhaustion buys at those points there. We had some weakness from professionals taking profits here, but we didn't have exhaustion patterns. Now we've had the exhaustion patterns. We don't have any blue professional bars. So again, we're in no man's land on the Aussie. And lastly, Japanese yen. So this week topped out here, blue professional bars, big pro bars here. Got a sign of weakness, two of these signal short. We come back up, more blue professional bars, taking profits into those highs, and we weaken from there. They're coming to the rescue down at the bottom down here, but it's not come with exhaustion sell, so we're still in a downtrend at the moment on the Japanese yen. The Forex market's not too clear which direction we're going to go. My guess is continuation of an uptrend because of this pattern, but we need to break above this 14.22 on the euro in order to confirm that. 10 years. So everybody thinks that the bond market is going to hell, and it certainly weakened this week. We had some professional profit taking here, and we freaked everybody out by going above that level, and then we weakened from there pretty substantially, and now we've got blue professional bars coming in at the lows. So let's see if they try to hold it down here. No exhaustion sell. In terms of better sine wave patterns, here we're running resistance to support. So even though better pro-am chart here, there was nothing to suggest that was the end of the world and we were just going to weaken from there. In fact, when we look at the cyclical patterns here, it was an important level. Pull back to end of trend on the lowest time frame, syncing up with cyclical resistance on the highest time frame, and we just overshot resistance on the intermediate time frame. So it cyclically was an important level, and then we dropped into a downtrend from there. So I know I concentrate on the better pro-am charts and seeing where the professionals are, but yeah, the cycles chart is equally important. Gold topped out this week, bang. So beginning of the week, end of the week, midway through the week, we had our exhaustion buy. We had blue professional bars here, broke into a downtrend, got a signal, bang, and we're heading down. One blue professional bar, two blue professional bars coming in here at the lows, trying to hold it at that point here. After the Rambo patterns and the blue professional bars, the professionals from the Rambo patterns know where the levels are. The amateurs here are getting wrong-footed. They're buying this breakout. It goes the other way. And then it comes back up to break or come close to that level where the professionals set in. And this is what we're seeing on these charts here. So we've got Rambo patterns, blue professional bars. Rambo followed by blue professional bars are strong signals. So that's an important turn happened there in gold. Silver again taking profits this week with blue professional up bars right into there. The Rambo patterns at the highs, they're getting wrong-footed, so a break of 35.50 would show we're into downtrend on silver. Bitcoin, we had a nice signal. Bitcoin down here at 101. Exhaustion sell, blue professional bars, blue box, bullish divergence, bang, broke into an uptrend. So weakening after Rambo patterns at the moment, but that was a change in trend on Bitcoin this week. Crude at the end of the week, they're taking profits. Here's big pro bars, blue professional bars, upper at the highs. Not exhaustion buy patterns up there, but let's break 64.27, 64 even to see if that breaks into a downtrend on crude. And natural gas sold off. It was an exciting week for natural gas this week. Bottomed last week, and then we raced away. Blue professional bars taking profits, but then they caught it, pushed it back up to those levels where the professionals were at 380. Now it's selling off. Let's see. I mean, the last place they were in was catching it at 62. So let's see if we get a continuation of that, because that's the last place that the professionals were active. I'm always looking for the last place they were active. It's like, yeah, that's an important level, but now this is the new professional zone based on latest information. Copper, what did copper do this week? Rambo patterns at the end of last week, we bounced from there into an uptrend. No blue professional bars taking profits at the highs. We've come back, so we're still in an uptrend in copper. Let's see if this level holds. We get blue professional bars joining in and pushing it higher. And corn. So corn topped out a couple of weeks ago. All of these patterns here. Exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, blue professional bars, big pro bars, everything going on here. Break into a big downtrend, and now they've stepped in at the bottom down here at 436. Holding it, we're broken into an uptrend there. So that's corn. Soybeans this week, joining in a bit of a rush here into an uptrend. Blue professional bars buying into those lows, but now it's getting this move going. We're in an uptrend on soybeans. And wheat, similarly, we're in an uptrend, but blue professional bars active here and here. No man's land at the moment there. Let's see cyclically what we're happening here. White bars, so technically it's actually not an uptrend because we've not broken above resistances here, so it's interesting. So wheat not looking all that strong. That's a weak breakout for me on wheat, and so it might reverse and go the other way. Anyway, so there we go. Some thoughts on some charts this week. Good luck with your trading. Let's just go back to 13,500. See what we're doing here. Yeah, not a strong move yet. But let's see if we get a continuation and we finally get a blow-off move on the E-mini, because I want an exhaustion buy pattern to mirror this exhaustion low down here. And that for me wasn't good enough. That was just getting the move going. So there we go. Hope your trading is going well, and looking forward to next week.